Goodyear believes in the power of moving forward. No matter if it's on the track, the court, or the field, movement makes us want to be more. It pushes us to go further, to show the world what we can do. Movement has the unique ability to change our perspective, to challenge us, to work for a better tomorrow. Movement can even bring us together when we're still. Because if we're focused on the next move, we don't have to worry about what's behind us. Goodyear, more driven.
The pride, passion, and pageantry of college football lives here. This is the Paul Feinbaum Show, Hour 4 podcast.
Back, final hour, and we've saved the best for last. Delighted to welcome back to our program Coach Mark Stoops of the University of Kentucky. They're part of the first SEC game this weekend against Mizzou. Coach, great to have you. And before we get to this coming Saturday, I know there has to be always a sense of relief after week one. You think you know what you're going to see, but you don't always get what you hope for. How did it go?
Yeah, you're right, Paul. It's always you have a pretty good feeling of what your team is like, but until you get out there in that opener and get that first one under your belt, it's always a bit nerve-wracking at the beginning of the season. So glad to get that one under our belt. I felt like our team really prepared very well throughout camp. It was nice to go out there and perform. I was very pleased. As you know, we've talked a lot and worked hard about improving our pass game in the offseason, and certainly that was evident in the opener. So I was really pleased with our offense in general, just the operation, and certainly throwing the football. Defensively, another big day, held them to under 90 yards of total offense, so really pleased. Defensively came out and really played fast and did some good things. So it's off to a good start. We have to improve, as you know, coming with a big game here with Missouri here this week.
Coach, I know we've talked about this in Hoover, and it's been what the media has obsessed over, but it is such a different look, or maybe it isn't, but it just seems like that from a distance with a new coordinator, a new quarterback, and I know these changes, especially from the coordinator standpoint, were not easy for you, but in terms of what else we'll see, and I'm not asking for the game plan, but how much did we see of the new look Saturday?
Well, we still have, quite a bit in there. And, that from talking to us coaches all the time, there's always going to be a few wrinkles here and there. But who you are is who you are, and, you saw the base offense. There's certainly, elements that we can change up from week to week. I'm very excited about it. I feel very good, as you mentioned, with Liam Cohen, our offensive coordinator, and the changes that he's implemented, just the energy that he's brought to our team. Will Levis, the transfer quarterback, can make all the throws, and then bringing in Wandell, along with Josh Ali and a really good tight end group. We have some weapons that can get the ball down the field, and that's certainly different. There's no denying that. I can't deny it. Last week when we were talking after the game, and, he said that we were right about 50-50 with run pass. I was kind of shocked myself because it felt like 90% pass because I'm just so used to pounding that rock and running the ball so much. It was a very different feel for me.
I asked you this, I think, last spring, and you talked about the difficulty of making a change. But internally, this does go against a little bit of your basic MO. How difficult was it to get to this point where you're putting a lot of faith in other people's hands, and it looks like the rewards are coming in?
Well, yeah, I think that's fair because, when I hired Eddie, he was part of that record-setting, bowl streak for our university, and so I put a lot into that. I give Eddie a lot of credit for helping us go to 5 straight bowls, and no coach in the history of our school has ever done that. And Eddie was a big part of that. So obviously my loyalty to him and grateful, the gratitude that I had for him and the work that he's done was hard to make that change. But once I did, there was no looking back, and I feel very good about where we're at. I have to always look at the program and just evaluate it at the end of the year and see where we're at and see the good things we're doing, how we're going to continue to do that in areas where we're falling short. we have to get better. And we did. There was no denying that for me. We had to get better. We were in a precarious situation because you could go back 3 years ago and we won 10 games with a sophomore quarterback and felt like we were going to really build on that. And then he goes and, 2 other quarterbacks transfer because a sophomore won the job, and then he gets hurt as a junior. And really from there, we kind of had to morph into something that we didn't necessarily want to be. But things happen. You have to adjust. We did the best we could, and it's my job to totally take this program to another level, and I feel really good about it. I feel like, for me, going into year 9, I feel like it's a reset button for me. As you mentioned, Paul, it is different. It's definitely a different look. It feels different for me as well, but I'm very confident and I'm very excited about it, and it gives me a chance to hit the reset button for this new year.
I heard you allude to it a minute ago, and yeah, the media is obsessing over all the changes on offense, but you seem pleased with the defense, which everyone knows has really been the strength of Kentucky in recent years. How good is this side of the ball right now, and how much better can they be?
It's really good. I'm proud of the defense. We lost 5 guys to the NFL that all made an active 53-man roster, 5 defensive players. What's great about it is, and I love them. I really appreciate it. I'm always really close and greatly appreciate those guys, but we really don't feel like we missed them. Now you're getting to a place in your program where you can replace those guys and not miss a beat. And that's no disrespect to them, because, again, I love those guys and greatly appreciate all the guys that have been through here. But we're really proud to produce a bunch of NFL players. And then, the first time we go out and play without them, we hold them to, again, under 90 yards. So we feel like we got a really good defense, very experienced, and some really good players.
This game Saturday is really big, that, and I'm curious, as you approach a game like this, where the winner is going to get a lot of attention as a contender in the East. I'm not trying to put any additional pressure on your program, but it's something you have to embrace, is it not?
Yeah, definitely. We want to play in big games, and if you want to play in big games, you better win the one that's right in front of you. So we have to take care of this game. It's the biggest game because it's the next game, and we know as you win, you put yourself in a position, and good things come, and we'll take it one game at a time. But we're very excited about this game. We were not very proud of the way we played a year ago. We went up there and they handled us, and they looked like they were the more excited team to play, and that's my job to get this team prepared and ready.
It's cliche now as we move toward the second weekend, but there were a lot of reasons last year why your team had some problems, well documented. But how different was it, and how different do you think it will be this weekend? Saturday night, the place will be on fire. Just having the atmosphere.
I'm sorry, I can't hear anything.
Okay, Coach, let me try one more time.
I'm sorry, Paul. I can't hear anything.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you telling me, by the way. But, yeah, this is complicated sometimes. You don't know what happens. It goes up into outer space and comes back in Lexington, Kentucky. But we had a pretty good conversation with Coach. We'll leave it there. I was simply going to ask him about the atmosphere and how different it was, and I think that's self-explanatory what the answer was last week and probably will be. Great conversation, though. He is a straight shooter. He does not sugarcoat, and we really appreciate Coach Stoops for joining us as long as he could hear us. We will take a break. We still have plenty of time for you to call in here, and we will definitely hear you when you do. We're coming right back.
You're listening to the Paul Feinbaum Show podcast.
Does this sound familiar? You've got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows, you're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you've got your neighbor's best friend's login for the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment you love without the hassle, and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part? There's no annual contract, so get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package. Goodyear believes in the power of moving forward. No matter if it's on the track, the court, or the field, movement makes us want to be more. It pushes us to go further, to show the world what we can do. Movement has the unique ability to change our perspective, to challenge us, to work for a better tomorrow. Movement can even bring us together when we're still. Because if we're focused on the next move, we don't have to worry about what's behind us. Goodyear, more driven.
Great to have all of you with us, and let's go to Brian in Las Vegas right now. Hey, Brian, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Paul. Thanks for taking my call. Longtime Crimson Tide fan. My first game that I ever attended was when I was 12 years old at Legion Field. It was the final game that Shug Jordan coached for Auburn.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, I've lived here in Las Vegas for over 30 years, and it's presented me with some unique opportunities. Back in the 90s, I worked for a company, a home builder, and we actually built Randall Cunningham's house. And so Randall would bring in Eric Dickerson, Herschel Walker, different people into the office, but also met his brother, Sam Bam Cunningham.
Oh, wow.
Would come into the office and met him. And then a couple years later, I started my own business. And during one of the periods of time where Randall was, stepped away from the NFL, he and his brother Sam and Randall's wife Felicity started a company, and they rented the space right next to the warehouse I was in. So I got to meet him a couple of times, and Randall's actually the chaplain for the Raiders now. So I heard that Sam had passed away, and I wanted to tell his family my condolences. I got to know him, again, not real well, but got to meet him a number of times and have some respect for him and kind of what he stood for. And, like I said, Las Vegas has presented a lot of unique opportunities. I live in a neighborhood about 3 or 4 miles just south of the new stadium, and so a couple of the Raiders players are our neighbors, and George Klavikoff, who is the new Pac-12 commissioner, he's one of my neighbors. And,
is he really?
George, yeah, and he and his family, delightful family, just wonderful people. So although I'm a big Alabama fan and SEC fan, I do wish him maybe not a lot of luck in the football area if they're going to beat us, but wish him luck personally because they're such good people. So anyway, appreciate your show. Big fan of yours, always have been. And like I said, just wanted to give my condolences to the Cunningham family because, like I said, I obviously everybody knows the story about Sam, and I appreciate what he did to integrate football in Alabama and Bear Bryant's vision and all those things that came to pass after that. But thank you so much, Paul.
Brian, thank you for calling. I really do appreciate that. Kim is up next in Georgia. Hello, Kim.
Hey, Paul.
Hi there.
I have a question to ask you about the Georgia offense. Do you not see a decline in the Georgia offense over the last 3 years?
Well, I'm not ready to go there yet because
you're not ready to go there yet.
We don't know. We don't know what this offense is going to look like, and
it doesn't look good.
Well, I would agree, and it may not. It may look even worse Saturday if JT Daniels doesn't improve. Hope I improve as well. But I
don't see that happening, Paul. I don't see it happening. I see a decline. And I see it's going to get worse because he's not good. And we don't have the receivers. I mean, our defense looks great. Got no problem with Kirby on that. But he's declined the offense.
I can't wait to get Mike Griffith on tomorrow because he was pretty much touting JT for the Heisman. Listen, I'm going to defer
what?
to the
Really?
Yes, I'm going. Well, not today. Last week.
No, not even close, Paul. Heisman, that's I don't think we're going to be like maybe right now the way it looks. I'm hoping we'll make the playoffs. I mean, we got a great defense, but that doesn't win games.
Kim, all I would say to you is wait for JT to get healthy, wait for the receivers to get healthy, and the tight end, and we will have a conversation. I am simply not going to sell out the Georgia Bulldogs. I happen to think they're the second best team in the country with no offense or not. Thank you for the call. Let's continue. Tom is in New Orleans. Hello, Tom.
Thank you for taking my call, Paul. Earlier in the show, you jested with an LSU fan that LSU had only beaten Alabama one time.
No. Tom, hold on a second. I didn't say that. I said it recently.
Recently?
Yes, I said that I was joking with him. I watch this game every year. I'm well aware of Saban losing his first game to LSU. I was in the stadium in 2010 when he lost that game. I was in the stadium the next year when he lost the game at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and I was there 2 years ago when he lost. So I'm pretty well versed on Saban's record against LSU. But thanks for cluing me in.
Has anybody beaten them more than 4 times? How about Auburn? Has Auburn beaten them more than 4 times?
I'd have to think about that. Auburn beat him his first year, and then again in 10. That's 2, 3. I know Auburn's beaten them 5 times. I'd have to think about whether they've beaten them 6.
One last thing. In 2019, Legend and Jerome went missing for 6 months. Their pitchers were on milk bottles. You remember the 50s with milk bottles? And that's amazing to me. This is the greatest football coach in the history of football, and my greatest regret is when he came back from Miami, the LSU administration didn't want him to come back, and that just bothers me to hell to this day, Paul.
Well, first of all, there was no way he was going back to LSU at that moment in time, but
because of Miles.
Well, yeah, I mean, you had Les Miles there, and you were stuck with him. That really turned out well. Hey, thank you for the call, though. I appreciate going down memory lane. Let's check in with Randy in Mississippi. Hello, Randy.
Hey, Paul.
Hi there.
Been a while since I called in. I think the last time we were talking about the NIL, and I said something about Texas and Ohio State and Alabama. All the big ones were going to win. And it sounds like it's going to be that. Well, I didn't know Texas was going to be in the SEC. So, another thing I wanted to call you and talk to you about was Iowa. To let you know, and everybody else, and of course this is not real big, but it's big for Iowa. That's where the Field of Dreams is located.
That is correct.
So you can go to Iowa, drive out in the corn, and somewhere out there is a tourist trap or the Field of Dreams.
Yeah, we saw that game a couple of weeks ago. It was one of the cooler events of the summer. Hey, thank you for the call. Bryce is up next in Texas. Hey, Bryce.
Hey, how's it going? First-time caller. Appreciate you taking my call.
Thank you.
Yes, my question is, in your opinion, as an A&M fan, on running up the score late in the game due to what happened last year, A&M's won 8 games, I believe, 7, 8 games by double digits, and it doesn't seem to be enough when you get late in the season and they start looking at the playoff picture. What's your opinion about that? And like this week, just bringing in Calzada to hand the ball off until it's 3rd and long and throws an interception.
Bryce, I am not in favor of running the score up, and quite frankly, I don't think it matters. A&M did not get in the playoffs last year because of the Alabama game. It had more to do with that than it did with whether they beat teams by 1 point, which I think they beat Florida by, or by 50 points. Those people that supposedly judge are football people that understand the difference in beating a bad team 66-0 and just scoring enough to win a game.
Okay, in the 7, 8 games, winning by double digits, last year in a total SEC schedule, it just seems like Notre Dame's win over Clemson was with their backup quarterback.
Yeah, well, but
then when they played with him,
I hear you, but it really came down to. I mean, it was a close call, but Notre Dame got the nod based on one game, and unfortunately for for A&M. They didn't really get any help. If Florida had finished better, maybe it would have helped them a little bit, but the Florida loss to LSU, I think, hurt because that was A&M's best win. I will say this, A&M has a chance to rectify that here in October. Hey, thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Corky is in Fort Worth. Hello, Corky.
Hey, how's it going, Paul?
Very well, thank you.
Man, I want to tell you, I did pick Georgia to beat Clemson like I told you they would with no problem. But Georgia's in trouble. I'm being honest. They do not deserve to be number 2. That offense is pathetic. I'm serious. If Clemson was to play Georgia again, I would pick Clemson to win. Georgia remind me of, I was in Tallahassee at the Notre Dame game, remind me of Notre Dame. We're the same team. We just can't do the job, man. Our offense sucked and Georgia offense sucked and our defense sucked. We just can't hold on to a lead.
Corky, I don't know what to say. I don't think I really need to remind people we're only 1 week into the season, and Georgia has had the biggest win of the season, but apparently it's just not good enough. Hey, thank you for the call. Mike is in Kentucky. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Hey, Paul. How you doing?
Great.
Man, this has got to be the first time in the history of college football that a team ascends to number 2 in the country without scoring a single offensive point. What is this? What poll is that? The CNN fake news poll? I doubt they'll score against UAB.
I remember being in Tuscaloosa a couple of years ago for the game of the century that ended up 3 field goals to 2 field goals, and we all raved about it.
Yeah, we were playing a good team. We missed 5 field goals.
Way,
our kicking game was in shambles that year.
Georgia was playing a really good team on Saturday, and people want to. I'm no fan
of the
ACC.
A good team?
Yeah, a really good team.
I thought that team wasn't going to make the college football playoffs. I thought they had no chance, Paul.
Well, they may not.
Y'all talking out both sides of your mouth.
But it's no fault of Clemson that they're not going to get in. It's the fault of the league they play in.
You telling me Virginia Tech's not a good team?
I have no earthly idea based on one game.
Well, I watched them play. They look pretty salty to me.
Yeah, well, good for them. But they're not going to be. We're talking about.
I just think they're setting Georgia fans up for the biggest letdown of all.
Mike, if you want to go through the whole ACC, we can talk about Duke and Georgia Tech, and just keep right on going if you want.
About 4 years ago, the ACC had a winning record against the SEC. Remember them days?
Mike,
I wasn't that far removed.
Mike, that has absolutely nothing to do with today. It's 2021, in case you missed it.
No, I ain't missing nothing. I know one thing. Georgia's got one good football player on their whole team. They got a nose guard. Good luck with winning a national championship with a nose guard, Georgia. Roll dadgum Tide.
We will be right back. Hope you will.
You're listening to the Paul Feinbaum Show podcast.
Sonos is the official sponsor of ESPN College Football. Get in the game with the premium sound of Sonos Arc. The soundbar brings all of your entertainment to life with breathtakingly realistic sound and the immersive experience of Dolby Atmos so you can feel like you're in the stadium. And when the TV is off, stream music and more from all of your favorite services. Mix and match Sonos speakers all around your home to create your perfect sound system. Everything connects quickly and easily over Wi-Fi. Visit Sonos.com to learn more.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. And I bet it can be hard work. You know it's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowner's or renter's insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to Geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit Geico.com today. That's Geico.com.
What is it? Is it Bass Georgia Bulldog Day or what?
Yeah, it's pretty shocking, and it seems like it's mainly coming from the Alabama fans.
Well, Alabama had a good game. I would like to see them with a little better defense. So I just wanted to call in, support my dogs. You're doing a great job.
Thank you very much for the call, Robbie. Frank in Queens is up next.
Yeah, well, for my question, Paul, how come you didn't stick up for Tennessee when that guy said they're not known for their academics? What about Vanderbilt? It's one of the best institutions in the United States. And all these schools have tons of money from football. They recruit the best professors, the best facilities, the best libraries, everything and anything, and you didn't even stick up for Tennessee, your own alma mater. I'm a little surprised at that.
Yeah, well, my resignation will be submitted immediately.
Yeah, great. Hey, Paul, yesterday you had a guy named Brandon on, and he said that Vanderbilt wasn't reflected of the SEC. It didn't reflect the SEC, but Alabama does?
I can't remember. I'm not really sure I remember what his point was. I mean, there's 14 schools in the SEC right now. I think they all play a role.
Yeah, they all play a role. But the thing is that was the point of this exaggerated pride that the SEC has for some reason. I don't know where they get this hubris that they discount Vanderbilt, but Alabama, let's count them. I don't understand that.
Well, going back to what you said a minute ago, people don't take Vanderbilt nearly as seriously as a football power as they do Alabama, and there are probably about 18 reasons for that concerning national championships. I'm not really sure. I mean, are you serious here? You think people are judging the SEC based on Vanderbilt?
Well, no, but you have to take them in the equation too. I mean, Georgia hasn't won a title since 1980, right? I mean, without Alabama, the SEC is really just a mediocre conference.
Frank, that is such an absurd statement to make. I expected more from you.
Tell me how.
Well, since 1998, Tennessee has won a national championship. Florida has won, two national championships. LSU has won at least 2 national championships. Auburn has won a national championship, and Alabama has won 6 national championships. So Alabama is not the only school that's won a national championship.
I didn't say that. I'm saying take Alabama out of the equation for this last decade.
If you took Alabama out of the equation, the SEC would still have a significant number of national championships.
Would you have this exaggerated pride, though? Would everyone have this hubris? I have a quick question about LSU.
I believe so. I mean, you could excise Alabama from the SEC right this second, and the SEC is still the best football league in the country.
That's debatable. That really is debatable.
Well, I tell you what, Frank, you live across the East River from the First Take Studios. I'll call Stephen A. right now, and I'll have you on the show tomorrow if you'd like to debate that.
Believe it or not, I can't stand him. I got a question about LSU.
You're the only one.
This guy, Ed Ogeron's never won anything, and everyone was hugging the guy, and he's at the Heisman Trophy, this and that. He's the next guy, this, that.
By the way, LSU's won 3 national championships since 1998. I left one out.
Yeah, not with Ed Ogeron, but okay for the other point.
Frank, I don't know what kind of media you get in Queens. I mean, I fly out of there a lot, but Ed Ogeron won the national championship a year and a half ago.
Yeah, he won it with a transfer quarterback, and he won it with a stacked team. The guy never really won anything. He lost at Ole Miss, did nothing. My question is, Paul.
Frank, I'll repeat one more time. In 2019, Ed Ogeron was the National Coach of the Year, and he won the national championship. Okay, what's your next point?
Okay, I understand that, Paul. I saw the game.
I just want to make sure.
They won. All right. My question is, this guy's going to win 5 games this year, right, in the mediocre conference of the SEC. How much of his love affair of Trump is really going to affect his recruiting this year?
I'm not really sure. I don't like to feign stupidity. It's not a good look. But I really don't understand. I don't understand what in the world you're talking about.
Didn't he say last year that he loves himself some Trump? Didn't he say that?
I believe he was supportive of the former president. Yes.
No. He said, "quote, I love myself some Trump."
Okay.
Now, you've been spending too much time up in Penn State and Happy Valley with Jay Paterno. You were there.
Frank. Donald Trump got about 82 million votes. I mean, it wasn't like he got shut out.
Is that going to affect his? Yeah. Well, how many of the African American vote did he get? Is that going to affect his recruiting, Paul? That's all my question. I'll hang up.
Well, okay. You finally got to a semblance of a question toward the end of that. Appreciate the call. Wow. Chris is up next in Louisiana. Hello, Chris.
Hey, Paul. Good to talk to you today.
Thank you very much.
Paul, just to let Frank I'm sorry. I just want to tell you, I'm so excited about. I was outside a while ago, and I remember you telling me last week that y'all were on XMM, and I found you, and I come running in, and I told Rita, and you might remember her. She's a big fan of yours.
Oh yeah, sure.
You to complain about Jennifer Lopez's showing way too much on the Super Bowl. That was her. Anyway, I told her, I said, listen to this. And she says, oh, my gosh, that's Paul Feinbaum. And I said, yeah, I'm so excited. I found him on X&M. I can listen. And she said, well, does that mean he's going on vacation with us next week? And I said, absolutely. So you will be going on vacation with us. And
well, by the way, where are you guys going?
We're going to Branson. So
oh, that's right.
Okay. We'll be lifting. You'll be in the car with us. Is Wayne Newton still
alive? Does he still play Branson, or is he dead? I can't remember.
I didn't hear you, Paul. Who?
Is Wayne Newton still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive. But
I mean, Wayne Newton pretty much owns Branson, doesn't he?
I haven't seen him there. I don't know if he comes in there very much, but okay. I haven't seen him. But anyway, Paul, I just wanted to thank you for all the nice things you said about LSU last year, and you never put them down. And even the first caller this year called in, and you said, look, it's just the first game. And I know they had a lot going on last year, and you always took up for them, and I appreciate that. But I just wanted to just say that I just don't think Orgeron's going to be with us much longer, and I've got 5 facts and points to make that show that, and I just want to give them to you. LSU is 20-12 without Joe Burrow, and that's a year and a half before Joe came and a year after. LSU is 2-12 when behind at halftime, and Paul, that shows that their coordinators aren't making any adjustments.
You're right.
And speaking of that, on the third quarter, Carter of Carter Power Hour, he did a film study and found that LSU, by far their worst quarter is the third quarter. That goes hand in hand with not making adjustments. So they've got 2 new coordinators, Paul, and we saw this past week, I was going to tell you that, they look like they've never called a game before in their life, and that's true. That was the first game that both of them have ever called a game.
We are officially out of time for this program. We appreciate all of you for being a part of it. Some really interesting guests today. We'll see you right here tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the Paul Feinbaum Show podcast. The Paul Feinbaum Show airs weekdays on the SEC Network, beginning at 3 Eastern.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.